So where are the best places to find cheap YouTube equipment? In this video, I share my 5 best tips for saving money on video gear coming up. Hey, what's up guys? Sean here with Think Media TV, helping you go further, faster in media. And on this channel, we do video gear reviews, audio gear reviews, as well as tip videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Alexis asks, what are some budget saving tips when it comes to investing in your YouTube channel? Thanks so much for the question, Alexis. So I am just like you. I love a good deal and I love saving money whenever possible. So here are my top 5 tips. Number 1 is actually to use stuff that you already have. I think one of the best ways to actually save money on gear is to not spend money at all. And what I mean is some people feel like they're being held back because they don't have fancy production equipment when it comes to YouTube. And a lot of times I like to say that really the only thing that you need to get started is a smartphone. And you might already have one, or maybe someone in your family does. And so this phone these days shoots HD video. You could set it up on a table and just begin talking right into the phone and shooting video clips. And so think about, what do you already have? Maybe one of the best ways to save money is to not spend any money at all. Tip number 2 is actually avoiding buying stuff that you don't need. And so what I also see people do is maybe you do want to upgrade your stuff. So you do want to buy some lighting and you do want to buy, a DSLR and some lenses, but lenses is a great example. You don't need a ton of lenses. In fact, you can get away with having really just one to create a lot of great videos. And so in some cases, you might, watch a lot of videos and feel pressure like you need something that you don't really need. So try to keep your setup as minimal as possible when you're trying to save money. Tip number 3 is one of my favorite sites on the internet, and that is Amazon.com. Now, the site itself is good, and the prices are always, usually pretty competitive, so you can trust the site. But my favorite hack is the used section and the refurbished section. And so a lot of times, especially when I was shopping for like lenses, some of the higher end Canon lenses could cost $1,000, even $2,000, but occasionally you could find a lens that's $800 or $700, and you can see if it's a reputable seller. You can see if they've got good feedback. You can read all about their return policy. Sometimes they're actually supported by Amazon, so you still get Amazon Prime if you're signed up for that, and it'll ship fast. And so probably one of the biggest hacks is that Amazon used section for saving money. Returned Owl asks, what websites provide good sales on used gear? I plan on purchasing a Canon 80D to expand my channel, but Amazon doesn't have a reputable seller. Great question, and I wanted to include it there because I said, make sure to look for those reputable sellers if it's in the used section. And so my next tip would be actually the Canon Refurbished site. Now, obviously, this only applies to Canon products, but one of the coolest places to buy gear on the internet is the Canon Refurbished section. And so a lot of times, very soon after a camera comes out, say the Canon 80D, which let's say is $1,200. I think it's probably around there. That'll come out on the Canon website, but soon thereafter, it might be a couple $100 less as a refurbished camera. And one of the huge benefits about that is it always comes with a 1-year warranty backed by Canon. When you're buying refurbished gear directly from Canon, you can have a lot of trust that not only is it going to be good, it's going to work, they're going to solve any problems you have, but you're actually going to get that warranty that's typically probably not even available on those Amazon used section. So for Canon gear, that's one of my favorite sites. And to answer your question, if you're looking for that 80D, that might be a place that I check out. And hey, by the way, we'll actually list all of these sites as well as a few other ways that we like to save money in the YouTube description below. So definitely check those out. But actually one thing I just looked up, like again, if you were looking for a budget camera, we're probably gonna be doing a video here on it soon. Currently, and it goes in and out of stock, but the Canon SL1 with a lens, so you're gonna get a Canon DSLR that has a mic input with a lens, so you can start shooting, refurbished is $389 on the site. So we'll link to that. Again, I don't know how many models they have. That is one challenge. When you're in the used section, when you're on the refurbished section, it has limited inventory. So you always kind of got to be shopping around looking for deals. But that right there is not only a great budget camera that's going to produce incredible DSLR results, That's a crazy low price tag for that kind of camera. And then it's also worth it to note that BH Photo also has, and not just their main site, but they have a whole used section as well. And so they actually will rate products like on a scale from 1 to 10. And so maybe the product will be like a 9 or even a 10 out of 10, even though it's been used and with the condition that it's in. So that's a place. I haven't spent too much time shopping there exactly, but that's another one to check out. And then my fifth tip overall would be Craigslist and eBay. Now, a few disclaimers here. eBay is a great one to do, especially if you have some time. I love to go into eBay and I always look at the completed listings. And so you can research Google how to look for completed listings. What I like about that is it'll show you what's possible as far as buying a product. So if you wanted to buy a Canon 80D, you can go into completed listings and see that the body maybe at times is selling, it's about a $1,000, $1,200 body, but some people are getting it for like $899, or $800. You're like, okay, well that's kind of the vision. Like I'm gonna shoot and I'm gonna be shopping on eBay for that. Of course, the variables are there's so many different shutter counts. How used is it? How good is the seller there? And so always look for their ratings and things like that. And then as far as Craigslist go, be very cautious in this particular space. There can be some incredible deals. One of my favorite deals ever that I will never forget is this Canon 30mm 1.4. This is the older model, but I got this one off Craigslist. At the time, it was like $400 was about the price tag for this new, and I bought it for $100. With the nice case, perfect condition, had barely been used. Here in Las Vegas, went and met somebody and handed over my favorite $100 I've ever spent to buy a lens for 75% off that was in perfect condition. And so that was on Craigslist, but here's the huge caveat. Number one, you don't wanna get, shot, killed, mugged, right? And so I'm kind of joking, but I mean, if you're gonna meet somebody, you gotta be really, cautious about that. And number two, you really wanna know your stuff. Like for instance, lenses can sometimes have the autofocus out. Sometimes the focusing is kind of sketchy. So what I typically like to do is, even if you have a ruler or the edge of a table, you get to autofocus exactly on the point that you wanna autofocus it on, take the photo and then look and preview the photo and zoom in to see if the focusing is accurate. So that was kind of tech speak there, but my point is you don't want to go to buy something off Craigslist, think it looks good, but not really know your stuff. So if you do know your stuff or buy something that's, so dependable that it's not sketchy or whatever. So if you bought a drone off Craigslist, maybe it's kind of damaged, but you're not sure because you don't know how to test or you don't fly it and consider every angle, if that makes sense, right? And so I say that, I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but it is a good site if you feel comfortable to go meet somebody. You can get literal, a steal of a deal from people. Don't steal from people because I guess it could be reversed. You mug that person, bad idea. So don't actually, do that, but realizing there are good deals there, but it's something to be careful about. Question of the day. What is your best tip for saving money on video gear and YouTube equipment? Post in the comment section below, and remember that you and the Think Media TV community have some of the best tips and feedback, so definitely connect with everybody in the comment section. And if you have a question and you want your questions featured in one of these future Q&A episodes, definitely post those below as well. So thanks so much for checking out this video. Definitely subscribe for more videos just like this. Hit the like button if you got value out of this video. And if you haven't downloaded the Think Media TV Video Gear Buyer's Guide, it actually goes through all of the gear I would recommend so you can get solid stuff that I've tested myself. No companies paid me when it comes to any of that gear. It's stuff that I've used, that I endorse because I've personally used it. So that way, again, you don't end up getting stuff you don't need, and you can get the exact stuff that you know is gonna get you great results. So if you wanna grab that guide for free, we'll link it up in the YouTube description below, as well as on the YouTube card. Until next time, Think Media TV is helping you go further, faster in media. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.